Hey there, it's CJ Willie and I'm cracking a pack. Today is pack number 5 in my science project of cracking the packs for my Magic the Gathering Theros Beyond Death bundle. Check out my preview video for the explanation on how this science project will test the theory to see if I can open cards with value greater than the $30 I spent on the bundle. I've added the link to my Magic the Gathering Theros Beyond Death bundle preview video in the description below. Quick reminder, I'm a casual player. So as I open the pack, my commentary will be focused from a very casual Magic player viewpoint. I think it's a pretty cool way to take a look at cards from a very just casual kitchen tabletop player. After I open the pack, I'm going to choose what I think is the best card out of the pack. Maybe you might agree or maybe you won't, but at least it will be noteworthy. So I've got pack number 5 here. As you can see, I still have 6 through 10 left to open. So let's see what we're going to get out of pack number 5. So far, there's been some pretty cool cards. I'm a blue Magic the Gathering player, and so we've had quite a few blue cards that I've been excited to get and play. All right, starting off, we have Glory Bears. For 4 mana, 3 and a white, you get a 3/4 enchantment creature, human cleric. Whenever another creature you control attacks, it gets +0/+1 until end of turn. I haven't really liked this card very much. I played it in a couple of mono, well, it wasn't mono white, it was white red, which I needed the final like 23rd card for my deck. I've tried it in other like white, green. It just hasn't paid off. It's not a card I'm really excited about. Okay, next card, Rage Scarred Berserker. 5 mana, 4 and a black. You get a Minotaur Berserker. It's a 5/4. When it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. I really wanted to have a Minotaur tribal theme, and it just didn't come together in black and red. This particular card I wasn't really high on. Usually I ended up playing it for a 5/4. By this time in the game, if you made it that far, your opponent's got big creatures, you've got big creatures. Even though the creature you're given has indestructible, it still isn't getting through. And so I found this to kind of be a dud. Next card, Funeral Rites. 3 mana, 2 and a black, sorcery. You draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, and put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. I do like this card. I've played it in some black decks, mainly where I've got life gain, either lifelink creatures or a Gray Merchant of Asphodel or Gray Man. What I really like for this card, the 2 cards obviously is nice to draw, but putting 2 cards in my graveyard really fueled escape. So it's a common that I like. Omen of the Sun. For 3 mana enchantment, flash. When Omen of the Sun enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white human soldier tokens, creature tokens, and you gain 2 life. Great. All these 1/1 soldier tokens that I've gotten in almost every single pack thus far in the bundle. Well, I've now got the card I can play them with. You can pay 2 and a white, sacrifice Omen of the Sun, scry 2. I don't like this as much as I like the Black Omen, I think is Omen of Death, and Omen of the Sea. Mainly, this is flashing a couple of 1/1s and chump block. I really haven't seen where this has been able to do a lot of work, so it falls a little bit off in comparison to Omen of Death and Omen of the Sea. Next card, Return to Nature. This, although a reprint, I think it was in Throne of Eldraine, is one of the common all-stars of Theros. Choose one, destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, exile target card from a graveyard. In Theros, all 3 of those work. And now in kind of a casual standard format where you've got Throne of Eldraine with Theros, this card does work. So I do like it quite a bit. Next card is Rapid Flames. 4 mana, 3 and a red. Sorcery Rapid Flame deals 1 damage to each of up to 3 target creatures. Those creatures can't block this turn. Yeah, it's kind of your typical red, get your guys through on the ground. An interesting thing that I've seen this card do, for instance, it says deal 1 damage to each of up to 3 target creatures. In a red-white deck, I have seen this where you play it, You target 2 of the creatures on your opponent's side, so that 2 of their blockers. Then you target 1 of your creatures that has that pseudo-heroic clause that gives all your other creatures +1/+0. Because you target it, you don't kill off that creature. You've given a buff to each of your creatures. It gets through damage. So that's the one area where I do like this card quite a bit. Next card, Citizen Training, 1 in a green, enchantment aura, enchant creature you control. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and then enchanted creature gets +1/+1, has trample. So a couple of things I like on this card. 1, it replaces itself, and 2, stick it on a creature and gives it trample. Especially in kind of the limited draft and even sealed format, it got to the point where it's just big creatures on big creatures, and you were going to either mill yourself out naturally or your opponent was going to mill themselves out naturally. This card was a difference maker because you could put it on a big creature. Now they had to block aggressively to kill it because of the trample clause. And so it's a card that I like. Next card, Thirst for Meaning, 2 and a blue. Instant, draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an enchantment card. I didn't know how I liked this card. I've really grown to like it for a couple of reasons. 1, Theros is full of enchantments. There are other enchantments running around, so it's not that bad at instant speed where you're going to be drawing 3 cards and only discarding 1. So an instant speed divination, if you want to think about it. Other avenues, let's say you don't pitch an enchantment card. I've seen it also be very beneficial in fueling escape. Hey, draw your 3 cards, pitch 2 of them, and now you're able to escape a creature because you've got those cards in the graveyard. Next card, Irrelevant Revelers. 3 mana. When it enters the battlefield, destroy 1, or choose 1, destroy target artifact, or Irrelevant Revelers gains haste until end of turn. It's a 2/2 body for 3. I haven't really been impressed with it. Right now in kind of Theros and Throne of Eldraine, aside from Embercleave, there isn't really an artifact I want to destroy. And giving your 3 mana 2/2 haste, I'm just not into that. It's gonna die, and it's probably gonna die and not take anything out on your opponent's side. Voracious Typhoon, 4 mana, 2 and 2 green, Snake Beast. It's a 4/4, which is already great stats. You can escape it for 5 and 2 green and 4 other cards from your graveyard, and then it escapes with 3 +1/+1 counters on it, making it a 7/7. This is a common that I did like a lot in draft. The only drawback is it does not have trample. So there were times where I would escape it, and then I'm just bashing it into a chump blocker, Sticking a Citizen Training on it, yeah, gave it trample, it made it work, but without trample, which is kind of weird on a big green beast, I wasn't as big on it as I think a lot of people were. Okay, first uncommon, Minions Return. 2 and a black for enchantment aura. Flash, enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. I like this card a ton. I like it in a blue-black control deck. It's so great when you can flash it in on your opponent's creature as it's getting ready to die, and guess what? It's your creature now. There are also times that I would flash it in on my creature, and it was going to die, and my creature hadn't entered the battlefield ability. Fantastic. I am really high on this card. Black is a very strong color in Theros Beyond Death, which I guess kind of makes sense. Theros Beyond Death. Death is kind of black. Great card. It's one of my favorite cards thus far. Next card, Medomai's Prophecy. I'm not sure I'm even saying that right. That's my best guess. It's a saga, not a saga for 2 mana, 1 and a blue. Chapter 1, you scry 2. Chapter 2, you choose a card name. Chapter 3, when you cast a spell with a chosen name for the first time this turn, draw 2 cards. Chapter 4, look at the top of card of each player's library. Okay. The 4th chapter is ridiculous. Not even playable. The first 3, I liked. I played it in a controlling blue-white, blue-black deck. I really liked it. Turn 1, set up my draws. First time that the first chapter in the saga, set up my draws. Second one, choose a card name. Third one, I don't care what I've chosen. I'm casting it and I'm getting 2 cards out of it. I did like this card. I didn't like it as much as I liked Minions Return, but it was a fun card to play. Okay, our final uncommon, Slaughter Priest of Mogis. Black and a red for a 2/2 Minotaur Shaman. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, Slaughter Priest of Mogis gets +2/+0 until end of turn. You can pay 2 generic, sacrifice another creature or an enchantment. Slaughter Priest of Mogis gains first strike until end of turn. Like I've said, I think in previous packs, I wanted the Minotaur deck to come together. Just didn't happen. I've got a casual Minotaur deck that I play a lot, and I was hoping to find a really good Minotaur to put it into that. The black-red deck couldn't get off the ground. I know that there are a lot of cool interactions with sacrificing enchantments or creatures. I just couldn't get it to happen, and I played, a couple of my friends were playing the black-red sacrifice deck in draft, and it just wasn't working. And I don't think that it's good enough to go into like a casual standard deck that's featuring like Judith. So I'm not as high on this card as maybe others are. The rare, Shatter the Sky, 2 and 2 white, 4 mana board wipe. It's a sorcery. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card, then destroy all creatures. I like this card quite a bit. I like that it's a 4 mana wrath. Yeah, there is the drawback that everybody that has a creature that's power 4 draws a card, but I like that it's a 4-drop wrath. And I really like playing control decks, Esper control, blue-white control. This is definitely something that I will include in some of my more controlling blue-white decks. In fact, I've got a blue-white deck I want to put together. I'm holding out to see if I can find a playset of Dream Trawlers for cheap. And then I think that it's a set that definitely, not a set, a deck that I'm putting together that is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, to finish it out, a mountain. Oh, and I got a little bit of a sneak peek. Finally, not a 1/1 white soldier token as the token. It is actually the Nightmare token that goes with Ashiok. I don't have an Ashiok. I really want to get an Ashiok out of this set. So maybe because I got the Nightmare token, an Ashiok is going to appear in the last 5 packs of this science experiment. Favorite card out of the set is going to be Minions Return. I like cards that mess with my opponent. I like that it can return something I have and I get an enter the battlefield effect out of it. I like that I can put it on their creature and use it for my devices. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Until next time when I crack pack number 6 for my Magic the Gathering Theros Beyond Death bundle. Remember, this is for science.